We're back, Warhammer Wednesday. Hello, everybody. We built legs last time. Finished the internal skeleton of the legs, plus some the hydraulics here and the hoses here. The next step for the legs are the armor pieces, but we are not going to put those on now. I'm not even going to cut them out of the sprues. Because I don't want just a pile of armor bits that I have to figure out where they go later. Leave them on the sprue so I can see the numbers and do them at another time. So yeah. The only thing is, there's a question of whether I wanted to, hey Patty, how's it going? Is whether I want to actually glue this to the base now, but I guess there's not really a reason why I need to do that. So I'm not gonna do it. But now we get to start building the skeleton of the top of the knight. So for that, I'm gonna need the sprue that has these big pieces. whatever the word is. Oh, look at that! Look at that hand. That's cool. Tornado sirens. Oh man. Yeah, I was talking on whatever day it was after we had a fun earthquake here. It was like I've lived through many earthquakes. Some of them quite large and quite scary, but I don't have any I don't have any concept of what it's like to be in a place with tornadoes or hurricanes or anything like that. And I don't feel the need to. Alright, so theoretically these things are 106 and 107. Where are those numbers? And I was not aware that there's a Wednesday tornado siren test even. Although yes, that sounds absolutely terrifying if you if you forget that happens and then it just goes off. They should remind people about that. Although I suppose it's good that they do such testing. No, okay, it's 105 and 106. That's what I was getting confused about. So this is 105, this is 106 here. But I'm glad that your test siren worked. Even if it scared you, I'm glad at least it works. God forbid there is such an emergency. So you all then, people who have experience with such things, you must live in places with basements. Because that's something that here in California we do not have. I feel like I would like a basement. I see a lot of hobby people, especially, with totally tricked out game and hobby spaces in their basements. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. No basements here, though. Oh, yeah, I can imagine if you're outside and you hear the siren, it's like, oh, yeah, this is just a test. Oh, yeah, Rabid Wombat, I suppose, yeah, apartment living would be a whole different situation with tornado stuff. Well, I hope you all never actually have a tornado happen. Or if they do happen, they're very light, I guess. I don't know what the I don't even know what the proper terminology is. So let's see. So far, Rabid Wombat says, so far only close calls for tornadoes and 2 earthquakes. Okay. Well, hopefully that's it. That's all. Those are all the close calls you need. Don't need any more. Or the real thing, of course. I have a friend who, I think I mentioned it, is way, way into Godzilla, all the kaiju stuff, and oh yeah, Patty. I mean, if you want to, you can come visit, and then you'll probably feel an earthquake. Yeah, they just sort of happen, and it's like, oh, that's happening. There's often a lot because a lot of times earthquakes happen at night for some reason. So you'll wake up and there's that feeling of what's happening. Is this an earthquake? Okay, it's an earthquake. If if things aren't literally falling off the shelves, then you're like, okay, or or picture frames falling off the walls, then very quickly you're like, okay, this is an earthquake. Let's do what we need to do. Because thankfully here, well, if you grow up here as a kid, you're very well trained in what to do when there's an earthquake, right? Every year in school we have things. Obviously, your parents will go over it, so it's sort of second nature on what to do. The annoying part for me that I always talk about is you never know when earthquake happens if it's a right earth elementals, yeah. If an earthquake is like the one that you feel, if that's the biggest one in the series, or if it's a foreshock for a bigger one coming. So that always freaks me out until I see that there are aftershocks that are getting smaller, which then I just make myself believe, okay, then I'm good. This one. So there's like an LA Quake bot on Twitter that you can follow that ties into the system that tracks all earthquakes and all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, earthquakes they're definitely a thing. You do mostly get used to them, as long as they're not catastrophic, of course. Star Wars. Oh, war. Yes, I'm sorry. I mixed. Yes, Uberbaldi. We are at war. We're building a big ol' knight. These are its legs. Yeah, Uberbaldi. You've been through some earthquakes. Yeah, lots of big earthquakes have happened at night. I was a pretty big earthquake happened once when I was in the shower. Oh, Shadow, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. We have live instruction starting next week in our schools here. Not for my kid, but for some people. So, Shadow, hopefully things are going well in your in your, in your school situation. Yeah, I don't. They started sending out these like questionnaires to parents, and as long as it started with, "Do you want your kid to continue at home or start the hybrid program?" We're like, "Nope, nope, nope. You can just stop sending us these emails. We are never sending our kid back to school, at least not this year." Yeah, I it's insane. Okay, yeah. So this is gonna be basically this is gonna go here. It's gonna be the side of the interior, basically a giant frame to cover or that the big armor plate is going to go on top. And now we've got some doodads to attach in here. Make sure I do them the right way. Yeah, the earthquake when I was in the shower wasn't it wasn't the best. What I've heard is really interesting is if you are in a car when there's an earthquake. And I don't think that's ever actually happened to me, like in a big earthquake, because apparently, like, it can look really weird because you might not feel it but you can see trees and buildings move. I've heard that's kind of a trippy experience. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, Patty. Like, maybe would you even notice if you're driving along and you're on a crappy road? Okay, so this thing goes. Oh, I see. There are little tiny brackets. Maybe. No. Where the heck does this thing go? Here? Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. So these are gonna form the connectors like these, and then there's like a disc that's gonna go, or a ring that's gonna go on top. Cool. Have any of you seen the design for the emergency safety bed? I know it had a bigger name than that. I don't think they actually built one, but it was just like a computer simulation prototype for what it could be, and it's essentially, yeah, Uber Baldi. Yeah, it's basically like a box with a bed on top, and then in an emergency, I think you can set it so that either you have to press a button or it automatically happens. And in an emergency, essentially like the floor, the right underneath your bed drops down and you fall down into the box and then it seals up over you and locks you in. Do you remember that?
Are you talking about the instant human death trap coffins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those.
That thing was crazy. And then theoretically it has like an air supply for, hopefully long enough until the somebody can come and dig you out of it. Man, I thought those were pretty fascinating. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but these little things are going to help lock in that. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting idea. I have to wonder though, is there any possibility of those things malfunctioning and just randomly locking you in and not notifying anyone? It's got to have like a life alert kind of system where it's always connected, just in case you fall and can't get up. So yeah, I think we all need one of those just to be safe. Ooh, speaking of safety, you know what I really want? I want to get one of those storage containers that you convert into a like an escape room, and then you dig up your whole lawn and you bury it, and then you cover it back up with like a tube hatch to get into it. That'd be cool. Ride out the inevitable zombie uprising. Uber, I definitely feel like there's part of me that could get a little bit crazy into doomsday prepping. Oh, Rabbit Wombat, that's cool. Tiny Chris, thank you so much for the resubscription. I appreciate it. Yeah, there are, like, honest to God, there are some amazing things that people are doing with storage containers. In Las Vegas, there's a park that's it's an outdoor mall slash park, and it's all built out of storage containers, which is pretty cool. Ooh, a storage container workshop, that'd be cool. Yeah, see, there's lots of interesting stuff you can do with storage containers. And I guess I guess they can't be that much money. It seems like there must be a lot of like spare ones that they must decommission them somehow. I don't know. I mean, if you believe Bucky, Falcon, and the Winter Soldier, then you could have whole state of the art laboratories inside your storage container. Yeah, Zardoz, that's cool. Yeah, because you can just take it with you, for sure. I guess if you if you want to do like the tiny house version of that, you could just get one of those pods and just build it in a pod. Those are even easier to carry around. Yeah, tiny Chris, I've thought about that. If you have one of those emergency beds, if there's anybody else in your family, you're like, nope, this is just for me. I'm out. Good luck. Okay, so this side is done. It's cool. Put that over there. Now we'll do the other side while we're at it. Okay. This way. Cool. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Right? Hey, you can always make or get more kids, sure.
Hey Max, Benjamin needs stuff for school.
Oh, the Star Wars card game. Man, are you really trying to get me into a whole new thing? Although the card game you can play completely online, right? I wouldn't have to buy anything. If so, then I'll say it's a possibility. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. Well, I need actual space within a domicile just for all of my crap. But otherwise, it seems like, yeah, most people, as long as you have internet, well, I think most people are pretty good to go. Unless you're one of those who absolutely loves cooking, you have to have, a big kitchen. But yeah, I think most people's lives pretty much just rely on the internet. Somebody's alarm going off. It is absolutely fascinating because we're getting to watch the creation of a entirely new house next door live, and we get to hear it every morning. But building structures is still so fascinating to me, and how quickly parts of it, at least, go together.
Maximilian, you're gonna have to leave.
And it's not super loud every day. Thankfully, it was loud at the beginning, but it's gotten better. Let's see. I want 103 to be first. So yeah, I mentioned my buddy who's way into Godzilla and kaiju of all kinds and movies in general, and he found some like-minded individuals, and they have a club in which they watch all of these movies and they write about it. And so he asked me if I would join for the new Godzilla vs. Kong movie, so I submitted my notes last night. I didn't have a million notes. It's not a movie that you can have a lot of deep thoughts about. But I had some thoughts. If anybody cares, I can share that somewhere. Like I said, I mean, if you've watched the movie, it is what it is. There's one of those pitch meeting YouTube videos that sums it up really well.
Maximilian?
I'm a big fan of that series. So in this club, they refer to anytime the monsters are not on screen, it's HBS, which is human bullshit. And pretty much every one of these movies has too much of that. And this one is no different. Yeah, I even wrote in my little review, I said, I don't often use the term like entertainment where you should just shut off your brain and enjoy it. But I'm like, if anything, this is pretty much up there. I feel like the more I think about the movie, the more I'm ruining the experience. A lot of the human stuff in Godzilla vs. Kong is really, really dumb. Even the stuff they dress up and pretend is not dumb is some of the worst dumb. I thought the human characters were almost all really terrible. Although I did say that I thought I'm not going to give any major spoilers, because not that there really are spoilers for that movie. And again, the one thing that could be spoiled was spoiled by pretty much everybody early on. But anyway, I won't talk about that. The one thing. But I said that while I didn't enjoy the character of Bernie and how it was. I thought it was probably the most accurate thing because he seems exactly like every podcaster I know. I'm not a huge fan of podcasts in general. Yeah. Oh, yes. Godzilla and Kong climbing all over the ships was. It was a cool visual, but yeah, I mean, so much of that just made no sense. And all the Hollow Earth stuff. My God, do not, for the sake of your brains, do not think about it at all because it will wreck your brain. The amount of pseudoscience flying around. Shocking. Shocking, I tell you. Historically, I'm much more of a Godzilla fan than a King Kong fan. And I was a little worried that they were going to really shortchange Godzilla in the movie. And thankfully, they did to some extent, which is understandable. I mean, it's much easier to make a giant monkey sympathetic and emotive than it is a giant lizard. I get it. It makes sense. But at least they did kind of give them both cool stuff to do and cool moments. Yeah, I noted this in my review, but it kind of seemed like the returning characters and the legacy characters were the most shortchanged. I mean, you even had Eleven's dad in the movie for 2 seconds. Like, why is he here? Why did you pay that man for this? The son of Dr. Serizawa, who was such an important character in the previous Godzilla movies. I mean, that was a thing. All right, so these are the two sides. Now this is going to be the base of the top section. Yeah, well, we're certainly going to get more Hollow Earth stuff because the movie did well enough, and they can exploit the heck out of it. Okay, I need 1, 37, and 25. I don't think any of them are on this sprue. Oh, I gotta go sprue hunting. Where is it? Where is it? Is it this one? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, and Serizawa's self-sacrifice was so great in the last one, and I think, oh man, and your kid turned out to be such a dipshit. But that does happen. Okay, and then what did I say? 37 and oh, there's that looks like number 1. Yes. Found it. The size of Kong is another big issue. Because in the previous movies, he was much smaller. And he was bigger in this one. And there is a throwaway line about how he's been getting larger. And does that have anything to do with the BS energy, whatever the energy source is? But then I have questions with regards to ancient Kongs. Yeah, right. The radiation, the energy, whatever they. I was trying to think. Did they actually call it something, or was oh? And that's something I wanted to put in my notes, and I forgot. I kind of love how dumb it is that Apex sends a little robot to sample the energy and email the energy back up to the surface. And then it's like, well, why did they send any people down at all then? If you could just have your little robot do it? Did they? Oh, that Zardoz. If then I totally don't remember that. That's interesting. That Kong is just a baby. Did they know that? Okay. Well, hey. Then that, like I said, definitely a line I do not remember. I think it was a hugely wasted opportunity when they were in Hollow Earth Land, and they're in that magnificent temple. Who built that temple? Well, we're not going to bother with that question. But Kong, triumphant, Kong the Mighty, picks up the axe, sits down on a throne, and nobody makes a reference, makes a joke that that's King Kong. Come on, it was right there. Referred to him as the king. I was disappointed. Okay, but well, yeah, that's cool. I mean, that definitely does help. That Kong was a little, and I do not remember them making a point of that. Cool. Oh, I'm also firmly convinced, you cannot tell me otherwise, that the girl's doll of Kong was made out of poop. That's definitely a poop doll. as a spaceship nerd, I did like the heaves, the HEAVs. I thought they were kind of neat little vehicles. Although, gonna get super nitpicky here. Each side has two engine pods, right? In some scenes, they take off and the engines rotate together toward the back and then it flies off. In some scenes, they rotate in facing each other and it takes off. Why? Don't do that. That's silly. I didn't like that. And also just the complete insanity of Dr. Lind. Literally not knowing enough about these crafts that he calls them a helicopter somehow, and then 20 minutes later he's operating it with extreme ability and innovation in how to use it and to do crazy things with it. I was like, come on. Skarsgård. The Hollow Earth expert. Yes, and as Elon Musk said, this movie is fantastic for conspiracy theorists. Everybody's a conspiracy theorist. Whether you're a conspiracy theorist about mega corporations or the Hollow Earth, everybody's got a pet conspiracy theory. Yes, no, that is true. The whole movie is silly. Oh, and I did note at the beginning of my review that basically everything I'm going to say is just nitpicking. And then yes, there's a lot of eye candy. The movie looks great. I think I love that they did like the first big battle scene is out on the ocean in the open air, and then the next one is in nighttime in Hong Kong. Wait, it was Hong Kong or Tokyo? Hong Kong, right? So yeah, the battle scenes they looked great, but yeah, lots of dumb. Okay, so this thing goes this way. Where? Oh, this way. It would help if I had it the right direction. Okay, cool. And that locks in pretty well. Good. Yeah, for sure. Hollow Earth is not a new idea by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just gonna put a bunch of glue on this area. I also like how they tell us that Kong he's super tough. He's gonna live forever. He's part of this Titan ecosphere, but also at the same time, careful now. He can't stand a little rain. Don't get him wet. He can't be out in a storm. God forbid it gets cold. He doesn't like the snow. Come on. I thought Kong was tough. I thought that was kind of funny. Alright, so we've got the... So again, this is going to go here. It's wobbly, but we'll figure out how we want to attach that later. Erdinsk, which one was Sanctuary? Sounds familiar. And then this one goes... There we go. That's the way. Zardoz, I get your point about the snow being more like in a cold weather environment, uh, but they did linger on him, and he's like shivering and looking cold, which I just I thought was extra silly. But yeah, I definitely see your point. Oh shoot, did I just do that wrong again? Oh, I did. Man. That's fine. That'll be fine. And I know H.P. Lovecraft is canceled, right? For good reason. I get it. He was a racist. We don't speak his name anymore. But if you're gonna rip off and make reference to at the Mountains of Madness and an Antarctic expedition that goes wrong and everybody dies, you gotta put in some references. There should have been, a lake or a dire, the names, or reference Miskatonic University somewhere. Like, come on, give it something. We don't like the man, but we like the mythos. Okay, so Eredinsk, thank you for answering that question. So about Sanctuary. So somebody recently just did a yeah Uber body just like that. So somebody recently just did a video. I think it was it Jesse Gender who did a video about Sanctuary, and I started that video thinking, oh, I remember this. I want to revisit this show, and I started watching the video, and I was like, I don't remember any of this. And she kept showing and talking about stuff, and I was like, I realized that I have never seen a second of that show. Don't know anything about it. And the shows I thought that she was going to be talking about and discussing were Invasion and Surface. Those were the two shows that were on in the same relative time period that had to do with weird things happening in the ocean. And we watched both of those shows, but not Sanctuary. Somehow I missed that one. And yeah, we can appreciate things from worlds that were written by crappy people. And again, like rip them off. Use their stuff for our own purposes. All right, we have the central thing. We've got the two walls, for lack of a better word for them. And in theory, these should attach like so. Ooh, why does that not line up very well? Ooh, I don't like that. What did I do wrong? I assume that should line up and fit in those grooves, but it's not doing that. What the heck? Okay. A little bit more fiddly than... Okay. I just gotta hold it in place real good. But that should be fine. And Zardoz, excellent point. Yes, Lovecraft was not the only one who created some of these characters that are now associated with the mythos, and there were definitely other authors who expanded it and used the characters in cool ways. And yeah, they're not all they weren't all racist douchebags. For sure. Okay, so we need glue the inside of that, the bottom there, and up the sides. I think I'm gonna do it that way.
You want to say hi to David King? You want to say hi to David King? Max, do not. That was not very nice.
He does not want to say hi.
Hello. Come here. Do you want to say hi
And
to
you
David?
can't make him say hi.
You want to say hi to David King?
Well, I guess you can.
I can't because you must be doing something. That's the Well, hold on. You're too distracted with anything that you're doing this class.
Okay, that looks good. Let me do both sides at the same time so I can jam it all together.
Alright, he's going under there. Alright, go. Be quiet. Don't bother him.
Kid is very excited to watch videos with his brother.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on, where's the... There we go. Okay, cool. We have achieved lock. Good. Good. Oh, I don't know if anyone has seen it yet, but and I only got one message about it so far today. But yes, among the trending topics today online is Scott Rudin, the famous Hollywood producer who apparently is another raging asshole. Revelations of accusations of things over the years. No relation. Not the same spelling. It's not me. So yeah, that'll be fun. Oh my god, yeah. Black Cavalier, my my hobby time is pretty much built around children screaming in the next room. Yeah, Zardoz, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna attach this. Because I know there are different ways of, essentially. So look, we've got the most of a part of a torso, and it goes like that, and then it doesn't attach, so you can decide how you want to do it. But yes, I know there are ways of magnetizing. There are some people like build in spacers to make it a little bit taller in the waist. So, but we're not at that point yet. I think this is good. No, there's just a little bit more give to this than I was expecting. So if it's locked in on the back, there's a little bit of gaps right there. You see the daylight coming through there? More on this side. I don't think it's gonna matter. I was kind of surprised that happened. I can drop a little bit more glue in there. Maybe it'll seal it up. Okay. Yeah, right. All Scots are bad. No, we have other great Scots who are watching right now, like Uberbaldi. No, if you IMDb Scott Rudin, he's produced a ton of very, very famous, very popular movies. He's a big dude in Hollywood. Okay. This should be good. Next, we've got engine exhausts. Cool. Allegedly. Uberbaldi. Allegedly. Yes. Nope, that's a weapon. That's a weapon sprue. Oh, here we go. Here are engines. Or exhausts. Alright, I guess I'll just leave that. 11 and 12, 13 and 14. Good. Okay, Zardoz says, cut a very solid T-shaped chunk from your sprue. Make it tall enough that you can twist the torso without any issues with the base of the T to the part that sticks up into the torso. So, do I have an easy one in these sprues yet? Yeah, let's so I can see if I. Uberwaldi, no, I haven't seen that. Okay, so if I had a T, I know this is too small, but are you saying like this? Like that? Like this kind of thing? Invert. Wait, what? Oh, through the top. Oh, so it's got to be. I think I'll need it longer. Uberbaldi, no, I didn't see. So it points, so it sticks out like that? Interesting. Okay, yeah, I'll have to find an appropriate piece to do that, but that's cool. So basically it just keeps it so that it can't go too far off center. Interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty easy solution. Oh, yeah, I'll have to check that out. Oh, tiny Stay Puffs. Where were we? Okay. Exhausts. Oh, that's cool, Zardoz. So like an original tip from the early days. 11 and 12. So like I said the other day, probably on Monday, but I did go through my son's mad scientist area where he's taking apart electronics all the time, and I did find some cool stuff that might be good for conversion work on this model. So we'll probably take a look at some of that stuff on Friday. I gotta clean it up and get it all together. Vortexus says, got my Indominus today, and getting got you 8 tickets into a raffle for a canister. That's awesome. I love the Indominus set. Well, I love the Space Marines part. I don't care about Necron, so I handed those off to a buddy of mine. And Canis Rex, that's the kit I'm working on right now. That's great. This kit has so many options. It's so cool. I'm looking forward to utilizing magnets so I can swap things out in the future and play with different options. So far, it's been good to me. I'm not that far into it yet, but things are going where they're supposed to go. Yeah, honestly, if I didn't have a good friend who was happy to split the box and take the Necrons, I might have considered starting up a little Necron army. But yeah, as it was, we each bought an Indominus and then swapped the parts. We each got 2 Indominus worth. Oh yeah, like Zarda says, yeah, knights are about around a foot tall, and then yeah, the other titans are a little bit to much larger, depending on which ones we're talking about. Glue goes up the side, in the middle, and up the other side. All right. Oh, right. The armor cast stuff. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Ooh, what is that little basket? Oh, that's cute. It's geek in a basket. I haven't seen that option yet. Oh man, I'm gonna put everybody's emotes in baskets. I love when they give us new modify emote options. Yeah, for those of you who have not been in this game for a million years, there was a whole. You could play Warhammer at a smaller scale called Epic. So, like a Space Marine tank, instead of being this big, would be like this big. And you had little bases for things. Well, look, I mean, come on. Epic was how many years ago now? It's been a little while since Epic was a thing. I'm old enough that I could have played it, but I didn't know it was a thing and wasn't around this hobby at that point. Oh, that's cool, Aridens. Actually affecting the real world through cool stuff in a TV show. Oh, nice, Uber Baldy. Yeah, my second shot is still a little ways away, but I have it scheduled. I'm looking forward to it. I'm Team Moderna, as it turned out. I didn't get to choose. This is what they had on the day. But yeah, very exciting. Very happy to do it. Yeah, we just did a whole bunch of research too about 'cause kids don't get vaccinated yet. There are no vaccines for kids. So we had to figure out, like, okay, even if my wife and I are vaccinated, well, how do we live our lives to continue to keep them safe? And again, luckily, kids contract COVID at a much lower rate. They have issues at a much lower rate, which is all good, but still, we want to make sure we're not doing anything that could, adversely affect them. But from what we've read, and we talked to some doctors that we know, and continue to be careful, but kids are so much better off that there's certain things that you can do that's very low risk to them. All right, Rabid Wombat, good luck. and we'll see you on the next stream. You know, Vortexes, from what I've seen, it really varies person to person. It also depends on which vaccine you're getting. Like I said, I got Moderna the first shot. My arm was a little bit sore that day and the next day, and that was it. But yeah, I've heard everything from people having zero to people feeling like they had the flu a little bit. It's just, yeah, it just varies so much. But yeah, I mean, I think just, obviously just try to, hopefully on that day you can take it easy and yeah, yeah, and thankfully there are a lot of people who aren't having side effects, which is nice to hear. But, all right, Zardoz, do I attach the exhausts or do I need to wait for a later stage? It looks like they can go on. They don't really block. Yeah, they don't block anything important.
What Maximilian?
I'm gonna do that one.
I don't know. Maybe with the flap icon, just let me know. Maybe just stand them up on the bench.
And then we've got some little side panels.
If there's no cover on
Oh,
it, then
where are those parts? Oh, I think that's them. Oh, Uber Body, that's awesome. Yeah, people have been talking about like, okay, we should use this as an example of how we can make vaccines quickly and effectively. So that's great. Yeah, man, Vortexes, that sounds like a tough situation, but I think it sounds like you are absolutely doing the right thing, and that's great that you're doing that. Yeah, uh, there are people out there who, for some reason, refuse to get vaccinated, which is,
yes, yes, Maximilian.
I don't know. I mean,
Data won't be. Do you understand the words that I'm saying? Do you understand my words? I want you to see.
I think it's disappointing. I think generally it's bad, but of course there are people out there who can't get vaccinated. That's a different story.
Let's see.
But
Red's in there. Maybe a little yellow.
yeah, and you have to be of the mindset that even if you don't, even if for some reason you think that you're not going to get sick, you're strong enough. It's not going to affect you, but you got to get it for other people too. We have to. Vaccines are the only way we eradicate viruses so that other people can't get them. Especially those people who can't get vaccinated, people with compromised immune systems and cancers and things like that. They can't get the vaccine. We have to get it for them so that we're not spreading it. Urgh. We have to think about other people, not just ourselves. Well, yeah, and then there are those people, as Vortex mentioned. Man, Fadir, that's frightening. People are awful. Ugh. And it's such fickle nonsense too. Their thought processes and how they just bounce back and forth between realities. It's like, okay, well, wait.
Benjamin, you're not going outside and watching Daddy's car if you're arguing
If
with him.
Trump made the vaccine, then
Okay, so that's
like I don't care what logic you use as long as somebody will get the vaccine. So sure, your guy made the vaccine, so get it because he made it. That's fine. But yeah, it's just I don't know, it's bad. Okay, so these are little things that just cover up this weird slot at the bottom. They fit in really tightly. Yeah. They just put the vaccine in the water, so everybody gets it. Cool. I guess I'm just gonna glue these on. Like I said, they fit in really tightly. I don't need much glue for these pieces. Come on.
Yes.
There we go. Yep, that's pretty.
What's up, Eddie? Yeah, very nice. I see that. Yeah, it's black.
Okay. That is a good, tight fit. Cool. All right. All right. And these have. See, this is great. Look, we've got these big socket connectors, big balls right here. They fit right in. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. I don't know if you could all hear, but that was my 2-year-old saying, "Oh man." Awesome, Vortex. This is great. See, there are deals to be had out there. You can find. Yeah, I'm not surprised you got a good deal on Necrons out of Pariah Nexus, considering how many Space Marines people are buying that giant set just for 6 models. Yeah, I mean we can parse out all the stuff, but I I would like to live in a world where we could mandate things like vaccines and force people to take it even if they didn't want to, but I understand why that's probably not a good idea to do stuff like that. I just wish people would voluntarily do it. And then we wouldn't then it wouldn't even be an issue to talk about. We can, but I think I don't know, I would defer to somebody a little bit more expert in public policy, but I can see where there could be an argument for slippery slope in forcing people to take certain medications and do things. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not expert enough in law and how that kind of thing works, but I don't know. And I'd be interested to hear from people who knew more about that sort of thing. Okay, so this is central part of our. There's a YouTuber that I watch and listen to, especially about he's he's like one of these political debate guys, but he has a really interesting thing about it's about abortion and like a an arguing for the right to abortion based on a how does he call it? But it's basically that if the government can force you to bear a child, then like where how else could that government power be applied, and how could it it's an interesting thing. Like I said, it's arguing it from a public policy and government reach. Like I said, I'm not explaining it very well, but it's that sort of thing, and I think those kinds of conversations are really interesting. But yeah. Anyway, And yes, failure, and right. I mean, I appreciate that. Yes, there are ways that the government can enact emergency measures. But again, I wish people would just be cool in the first place. Yeah, Vortexus. That's yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and Black Cavalier. Like if you know if you're right, if you're susceptible to things, then that's you know that's a different story. And again, there will always be some people who can't get vaccines for one reason or another, and again, that's why everybody else needs to. Ugh. Yes. Yeah, right. And Nerdy Duck, you're absolutely right. I mean, if yeah, we we trust the government to act in our in our best interests, but at times that might not be the case. Oh, I lost a piece under my computer, but that's why we have tweezers. Cool. All right. Well, look. Sometimes our conversations drift into the more serious topics. I hope nobody's getting upset by anything that I said, but and if you did, different opinions. It's all good. I am all right. I'm gonna wrap it up for today. All right, now I know I've been talking. This things have been happening in my life and in Pete's life, but today there will be a Myths and Video Games stream this afternoon on the Pete Wiz channel at 3 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be looking at the most recent Assassin's Creed game, talking about the really cool Norse mythological content, the history in it. I'm very excited about that. Really looking forward to this. Like I said, it's been delayed quite a bit coming back to the show, but we are doing it. It's happening today. Hope you can join us. Otherwise, no stream tomorrow. Thursday's my day off, but I'll be back on Friday, and we should, like I said, hopefully I can get the parts cleaned up at least enough that I can bring them in and start looking at how we might be accessorizing and converting things on this model. I'm just catching up on chat. Oof, yeah, yeah, man, and the mask thing. Oh, it should have been. Yeah. Oh, Tiny Chris, that's cool. That's an interesting little note. Huh. Cool. We're not gonna raid. I couldn't even raid yesterday, even if I tried. I don't know. Weird stuff is going on with Twitch, which is not abnormal, sadly. Trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. Okay, cool. All right. See everybody later. Again, Myths and Video Games today on the Pete Wiz channel. Hopefully you can make it. Otherwise, I'll see you on Friday. And goodbye.